Greetings, my name is Paul, and I am the lead research technician here at the How to Linux Research Labs, and I'm also the administrator of the Papa OS Linux Facebook group on Facebook. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to install Pulsar, which is a code editor, and we're going to install that on Papa OS Linux 22.04. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so what is Pulsar? Well, in a nutshell, it's a free and open source and cross-platform code editor. And we're going to install version 1.118 on Papa OS Linux 22.04. Okay, so here's my Papa OS Linux installation here. My fast fetch screen that actually shows I'm in a pop session, okay? So we're going to install Pulsar on here. Okay, so we can go ahead and clear on that. Now, I've gone over their documentation, and I've determined that there are a few different ways of installing it. There's a flat pack, which I'm not going to do. There's no snaps. There's an app image, which I'm not going to do either. I'm not going to compile from source, and I don't believe it's in the pop repos, and even if it was, it probably would be a couple of ticks behind version-wise, so I wouldn't even recommend that to do that in the first place. I don't see any kind of an apt.deb type of a repo that we can add to our sources list for automatic updates, so that's not in play either. I'm just going to go ahead and download a standard standalone .deb package installer, and I'm going to use apt to install it and launch it, and then after we're done installing it, we're going to go ahead and launch it via GUI and command line methods. Now, if you look on their page really, I've been over it, and it's a little bit complicated, but they seem to have a little bit of a different way of doing things here. They have rolling and regular releases, although at this time they say that there's no automatic update, so I'm not really quite sure how to read it. They have it, but then they don't have it, whatever. So I would stay away from the rolling release anyway, only because I think that might lead to some instability. You would get updates without them being tested and all that kind of stuff. So that would be version 1.119, and I'm going to stay away from that. And I'm going to go down here to the, there's a section down here for regular release. So I'm going to stay away from the rolling release. Go down to regular release section here, and you'll get less frequent updates, but they'd probably be more stable, more tested, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go down here to this regular release section here, and it looks like it's going to be version 1.118. Okay, so we're going to do this way here. We're going to forget Mac and Windows, obviously. I'm going to just go ahead and click on the Linux here. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to do app images. There's no flat pack here. It should be here. A link should be here as well, but it's not. But I did see in their documentation where they have a flat pack. And no snaps, and I'm not going to do it from source. And like I said, anything in the pop repos probably would be outdated, and I don't see like a PPA or an official repo URL to add to our sources list. So we're just going to pick from these few right here. Obviously, RPM is not in play either, and I'm going to skip the tar file. Okay, I'm going to go download the standalone deb file here. Okay, so we're going to go in and focus on this top section here, deb package for Debian Ubuntu. Since pop is based on Ubuntu, we're going to go ahead and click on this one here, and this is going to probably download it into our download folder. So we're going to go over here and see the progress of the download, and let's see how much more time we have. Okay, 136 megabytes, and we're at about 25. It says about a minute left. So let's watch together and wait for it to finish. Shouldn't be too much longer. Going pretty fast here. Then once it's downloaded, we'll spot it and we'll try to we'll install it and launch it. Okay, 80% coming up here. And just about there. A few more seconds. But everything's looking good so far. $110. And we're just about closing in here. About done here. Okay, 136 and we're done. Okay, that was a couple of minutes there. Not too bad. Okay, it's complete. Everything's done. Okay, it looks good. Go ahead and X out of there. Okay, so we've downloaded the deb file from 1.118 of Pulsar. Okay, so we're good there. I just want to show you really quick that I don't have it installed yet. So in the library home, which is where, well, just to show that we don't have it installed in any of these folders here. Nothing to do with Pulsar anywhere here. And then when we're done, we'll come back here and spot it in the P section. So it'll be in this section down here, Pulsar. Okay, so you see it's not installed. Once we're done installing it, we'll spot it and try to launch it that way. Okay, good. Okay, so let's go ahead and CD into download folder. Try to spot it in here. It should be in here. And let's try to spot Pulsar. Okay, here it is right here. Linux Pulsar 1.118 AMD64.deb. Okay, good. I'm going to install this deb file, and I'm going to install it right here in the download folder. I'm not going to move it anywhere else. I'm just going to install it with the relative path. Let's see if the relative path works by staying in the download folder and just using apt to install it from here, as opposed to being in the home folder and using the full or absolute path. Let's see what happens when we just install it here in the relative path. Okay, so I'm going to use apt. I'm not going to use gdebi or eddy or dpackage. I'm going to use apt. Hopefully it'll resolve dependencies and we'll be good to go. Let's see what happens when we do it this way. So with the relative path and with apt to manage install the dependencies and whatnot. Okay, so sudo apt install, then a / on that, and then key in a couple of letters here, and then tab on that. Okay, nothing. And okay, let's see why it's not installing here. It was Pulsar, wasn't it not? Let's see what it was, the name of it. Let's see, maybe I didn't key it in right. Okay, it's linux.pulsar. Okay, see, I didn't make mental note of that. Okay, it's capital Linux.pulsar. Okay, my bad. All right, I didn't make note of that. Okay, so we'll clear on that, and then we'll key in the apt command again. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Sudo. I didn't key that in right either. Okay, sudo install capital L. Now if I just do a capital L and hit the tab, okay, actually I need to go / on that. Okay, there we go. All right, this is the right command here. Okay, we're in the download folder where the .deb file for Pulsar lives. Sudo apt install / and then you key in the file name here, the file name with the extension. Okay, this is what we want right here. Okay, so once we have that all staged up, we're all staged up and ready to go to the next step. Okay, enter on that, and let's see what it's going to do. Is it going to prompt me, or what is it going to do? Download some dependencies or whatever? I'm looking at my router. I'm not really seeing where it's downloading anything necessarily, but it's unpacking and it's installing. Doesn't seem to be downloading any dependencies, I don't think. Okay, we're at 20%. So we'll be back when it's done, but it's at 20% now, and I'll come back when it's finished with this progress here. Okay, everything went through. Looks like it unpacked Pulsar and installed it. I've seen this before. Nothing to worry about, I don't believe. So there's no errors here. I think we're okay to move on to the. I think it's been installed, and we just have to try to spot it and launch it. Okay, so we're good here. We'll go back to our home folder here. Okay. Okay, let's try to spot it. Now that we've installed it, we're okay for trying to launch it a few different ways here. First, I'm going to go into my application folder here, and I'm going to try to spot it here. Okay, and here's Pulsar here. That wasn't there before, right? Okay, so this is Plan A. Go to your application folder in your library home. Spot Pulsar. You can right-click it, pin the dash. I don't have a lot of room there, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to X out of there, and I'm just going to left-click on that. You can always pin it to your dock, and then launch it from the dock. Otherwise, launch it the way I did right there. Spot it, left-click it, standard left-click, and then try to launch it that way. Okay, here it comes. Wait for it to settle down and initialize and whatever. And you can play with it yourself as far as setting it up. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of using it. You know, changing the color and, you know, just everything that goes into, you know, using a code editor. I just want to get you installed and launched. But this looks like it's usable here. Check the version here. What am I expecting here? 1.118. Okay, down here. Okay, good. 1.118 x64. Okay, that's good. So everything looks like it's active. Nothing's stuck or frozen. Everything seems to be okay. This looks good. So I'm going to X out of there, and you can also come into your graphical file manager here and spot it in your. Let's see, where would it be here? Okay, it would not be there. It would be in your application folder or whatever. Yeah, I don't really use this too often. I'll have to come back here and look at this later. I know that when I installed it, it's no longer it's in the download folder, the deb file, but then it probably installs it into your application folder. Anyway, I'll look at this later on my own. But we were able to find it and launch it here. Okay. Another main way to launch it would be from the command line. Okay, let's see if it's on the path variable. So let's see where the binary lives. First of all, I'm not even sure if the keyword is Pulsar. Okay, it is Pulsar. Okay, it's on the path that it's on is user bin, and user bin is on the path. So by virtue of Pulsar being installed in this path, it'll be on the path variable, and we can launch it and use it from the command line. Okay, so how do you know that Pulsar is actually on the path other than using it? Well, if you see the base URL, the path here, user bin, if you echo out the value in this particular system variable, the path variable, you'll see user bin here. So user bin is already on the path, and when Pulsar gets put in this path, it winds up on the path essentially. So Pulsar is on the path. So we don't have to do any more with our bash rc file and all that other manual effort to get it onto the path. It's already there. We can use it from here. Okay, so the keyword does seem like it is Pulsar. So we'll try to key in PUL. Okay, I went PUL tab and it completed it. Okay, just Pulsar by itself. Let's see if that launches the editor this way. Okay, that's good. Same thing as before. Wait for it to settle down. Wait for this to become active here. Okay, it's active now. Okay, so check the version again. Same version, 1.118. Okay, good. And then see what output. There's no output here. I was expecting some kind of output, but it did launch. And if there's any usage problems, I would just launch it from the command line, and then look at the process in the terminal here for any launch or usage issues. So keep this running here while you have the front end here, and hopefully whatever you do here usage-wise, any problems here will output some output. You know, the terminal will output some information to the screen that you could try to use to debug launch and usage issues. Okay, so that's good there. So we launched it via terminal, and one more thing. So if you just go Pulsar by itself, it'll launch. If you want to get some other information on how to deal with Pulsar, use the H flag there, and you'll get some other information in the terminal here. Some other usage and some other information on how to manage and how to manage and deal with Pulsar essentially. configuration and other informations here. So that's Pulsar-H. Okay, so that gives you all this usage information here. Okay, so that's pretty much about it. Okay, so that was how to install and launch the Pulsar free and open source and cross-platform code editor on Pop! OS Linux 22.04. You know, how to download the deb file, how to use apt to install it, and then how to use the application folder here and launch it GUI-wise, and use the terminal and launch it command line-wise that way. Okay, so back to the fast fetch screen as I close the video out. Okay, so yeah, that was how to install. In a little side note about Pulsar, it is the successor to Atom, which was created and maintained by GitHub for a number of years, and then it was taken over by GitHub was taken over by Microsoft, and they sunsetted Atom, and they push VS Code, Visual Studio Code now. So Visual Studio Code is the new way of doing things. So Atom's gone, and Visual Studio Code is the replacement essentially. Although this is more like I do believe it's like a community fork of the Atom code. So it's got nothing to do with Microsoft. It's a community fork of Atom, I do believe is what it is. Okay, so yeah, that was how to install Pulsar on Pop! OS Linux 22.04. Okay, so once again, I am Paul, and I am the lead research technician here at the How to Linux Research Labs. And I'm also the administrator of the Pop! OS Linux Facebook group on Facebook. Please join. We talk about Pop and other distros and other tech news as well. And at this point, I would like to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And until my next video, happy Linuxing. Bye-bye.